Promote social fairness and justice. Ensure a happy life for the people. January 7th, 2014. Main points of the speech at a central conference on judicial, procuratorial, and public security work. We should make safeguarding social stability our basic task. Promote social fairness and justice as core values and ensure a happy life for the people as our fundamental target. We should enforce the law strictly, administer justice impartially, further promote reform, strengthen and improve judicial, procuratorial, and public security work, and safeguard the vital interests of the people. In so doing, we will ensure the realization of the two centenary goals and the Chinese dream of the nation's great renewal. Judicial, procuratorial, and public security departments should take a clear stand in upholding the leadership of the party. This means upholding the people's status as the masters of the country and implementing law-based governance, the party's basic strategy of leading the people in governing the country. We should unswervingly adhere to the party's leadership over judicial, procuratorial, and public security work, and at the same time strengthen and improve its leadership. We should correctly balance the party's policies and the state's laws. Both reflect the fundamental will of the people and share the same nature. The party leads the people in enacting and enforcing the Constitution and laws. It guarantees the enforcement of the laws enacted under its leadership and takes the lead in observing them. Judicial, procuratorial, and public security officers should conscientiously safeguard the authority of the party's policies and the state's laws, and make sure that both are executed properly. We should properly balance the need to uphold the party's leadership and the need for judicial, procuratorial, and public security organs to exercise their power independently and impartially, in accordance with the law. Party organizations and officials at all levels should support these organs in taking responsibility independently in accordance with the Constitution and laws, and carrying out their work in a concerted and coordinated way. Commissions for judicial, procuratorial, and public security affairs under the party committees should have clearly defined functions. They should apply the rule of law to their leadership over judicial, procuratorial, and public security work, and play a key role in modernizing the governance system and capacity of the state. It is a basic task for judicial, procuratorial, and public security organs to maintain social stability. We should keep a careful balance between maintaining social stability and safeguarding the people's legitimate rights and interests. We should address the people's proper and lawful demands on matters affecting their interests, and improve the institutions that are important for safeguarding their vital interests. We should assert the authority of the law in solving conflicts, so that people are convinced that their rights and interests are protected impartially and effectively. In addition, we should identify a balance between enlivening development and maintaining public order. We need to deal with social conflicts systematically and comprehensively at the source and in accordance with the law. as well as to mobilize the whole of society to safeguard social stability. Judicial, procuratorial, and public security work is aimed at achieving social fairness and justice as core values. In a sense, promoting fairness and justice is the lifeblood of this work, and judicial, procuratorial, and public security organs are the last line in defense of social justice and fairness. Judicial, procuratorial, and public security officers should use the scales of fairness and the sword of justice to guarantee a fair and just society with concrete actions and ensure access to fairness and justice for every individual. We should focus on addressing serious violations of people's rights and interests. We should never turn down people who ask us for help, never refuse to accept their cases because they cannot pay, never abuse power to violate people's legitimate rights and interests, or violate the law to create injustices and wrongly decided cases. It is the fundamental purpose of judicial, procuratorial, and public security work to ensure that the people lead a happy life. Judicial, procuratorial, and public security organs and officers should address the people's problems the way they do their own, and work on the people's small problems the way they do their own big problems. We will work for the satisfaction of the people and correct any of our practices they are not happy about. We will provide effective legal protection for the people's happy life. We should strengthen the comprehensive maintenance of public order and resolutely reverse the rising incidence of serious crimes to protect the people's lives and property. To accomplish their noble mission entrusted by the party and people, judicial, procuratorial, and public security organs must enforce the law strictly and administer justice impartially. Justice breeds trust, and honesty fosters credibility. We should uphold our professional conscience and enforce the law for the good of the people. We should guide judicial, procuratorial, and public security officers to act within the bounds of their professional code of conduct. Never tolerate what the people detest. Act quickly if the people so require, and strictly administer justice with awe-inspiring integrity. We should believe in and implement the rule of law, acquire a good knowledge and profound understanding of the law, and abide by and defend the law. We should hold our position firm, uphold righteousness, and respect only facts and the law in law enforcement. Impartial law enforcement should be guaranteed by institutions. We will apply institutions to every aspect of law enforcement as a wall wired with high-tension electricity line. Violators will be subject to the severest possible penalties or be prosecuted for criminal liability if the circumstances constitute a crime. Open trials promote justice, and transparency ensures impartiality. We should take the initiative in making trials open and inviting oversight to render manipulation and judicial corruption impossible. Officials at all levels should take the lead in acting in accordance with the law and make sure that they do not do anything that violates the law. They should not exercise power that is not allowed for them by law, or even worse, override the law by fiat or bend the law. We should establish a sound registration, filing, and reporting mechanism, as well as an accountability mechanism for officials' intervention in judicial affairs in violation of statutory procedures. On the whole, our judicial, procuratorial, and public security officers are good. They are loyal to the party, serve our people, are able to take on tough challenges, and brave death. They are highly competent functionaries the party and the people can absolutely trust. Party committees and governments at all levels should implement preferential policies and measures for these officers and help them with their practical problems. We should build a contingent of judicial, procuratorial, and public security officers who have firm political beliefs, strong professional expertise, a good sense of responsibility and discipline, and good moral character, are firm in their faith, enforce the law for the people, are not afraid to take on responsibilities, and are upright and honest. It is essential for our judicial, procuratorial, and public security officers to have firm ideals and convictions. We should give top priority to education in this regard for these officers. We should make sure that they uphold socialism with Chinese characteristics, faithfully follow the orders of the party, and remain true to their mission. We should see to it that they put the party's cause, the people's interests, and the Constitution and laws above everything else, and remain politically loyal to the party, nation, people, and law. Judicial, procuratorial, and public security officers should fully shoulder their responsibility to fight crimes instead of turning a blind eye to them. When facing dangerous, urgent, or intractable tasks, they should go all out and complete them without hesitation. We should strengthen education in discipline and improve the mechanism that maintains discipline, and use iron discipline to train a strong contingent of judicial, procuratorial, and public security officers. We should improve their professional expertise to make sure that they complete their tasks. We should wipe out corruption in the judicial, procuratorial, and public security fields with the strongest will and the most resolute actions, and remove the bad apples from them. Judicial reform is a major part of our political reforms, and greatly helps modernize the state's governance system and capacity. We should provide stronger leadership and better coordination, and focus on real results in the process of building a just, efficient, and authoritative socialist judicial system in order to better uphold the party's leadership, give full play to the special features of China's judicial system, and promote social fairness and justice. Culturally advanced China. Enhance publicity and theoretical work. August 19th, 2013. Main points of the speech at a national meeting on publicity and theoretical work. Our publicity and theoretical work must help us accomplish the central task of economic development and serve the overall interests of the country. Therefore, we must bear the big picture in mind and keep in line with the trends. We should map out plans with focus on priorities and carry them out in accordance with the situation. Economic development is the party's central task, and ideological progress is one of its top priorities. Since the convocation of the third plenary session of the 11th CPC Central Committee in 1978, the party has made economic development its central task, devoting itself to accelerating the economy and improving the people's lives. This central task will not and should not change as long as the domestic or international situation does not change dramatically. It is a basic requirement for the party to adhere to its basic line for 100 years and to solve all the problems of contemporary China. Moreover, to enhance the cause of Chinese socialism, we must promote material, cultural, and ethical progress, strengthen the nation materially, culturally, and ethically, and improve the material, cultural, and ethical lives of the people of all ethnic groups. Our publicity and theoretical work aims to consolidate Marxism as the guiding ideology in China and cement the shared ideological basis of the whole party and the people. Both party members and officials must hold a firm belief in Marxism and communism, make unremitting and pragmatic efforts to realize the party's basic program at the present stage, take every step needed for progress, and pass the baton dutifully to our successors. Officials, especially high-ranking ones, should master the basic theories of Marxism as their special skill and diligently study Marxism-Leninism and Mao Zedong thought, and especially Deng Xiaoping theory, the important thought of the three represents, and the scientific outlook on development. Marxism must be a required course in party schools, executive leadership, academies of social sciences, institutes of higher learning, and groups for theoretical studies. These places should serve as the centers for studying, researching, and disseminating Marxism. New and young officials in particular should work hard to study Marxist theory, learn to observe and solve problems from the Marxist stand, viewpoint, and method, and become firm in their ideals and convictions. More efforts should be made to enhance the awareness of socialism with Chinese characteristics among the people of all ethnic groups, so as to inspire the people to strive for Chinese socialism. We should intensify the recognition of the core socialist values, foster and practice these values, improve civic morality, and cultivate the social trends of recognizing honor and disgrace, practicing integrity, encouraging dedication, and promoting harmony. Party spirit and the idea of serving the people have long been interrelated. Preserving party spirit means keeping a correct political direction, taking a committed political stand, and disseminating the party's theories, lines, principles, and policies, in addition to the major work plans of the CPC Central Committee, and its major analyses and judgments on the country's situation. It also means maintaining a high degree of unity with the Party Central Committee and upholding its authority. All departments, institutions, and all party members and officials, specializing in publicity and theoretical work, must preserve their party spirit without fail. Serving the people means putting the people first and realizing, safeguarding, and developing the fundamental interests of the overwhelming majority of the people, our starting point and goal. Our work should focus on serving the people. We should serve the people while educating and guiding them, satisfy their demands while upgrading their personal quality, disseminate and report more on their great endeavors and vigorous lives, role models, and their moving stories. This way, we can enrich the people culturally and ethically, enhance their moral strength, and meet their cultural and intellectual demands. An important platform for publicity and theoretical work is the stressing of unity, stability, and encouragement, and putting the focus on positive publicity. We are new to a battle with many new historic features. We are facing unprecedented challenges and difficulties. Therefore, we must continue to enhance and intensify the underlying trend of thought in our country. Advocate the themes of the times, popularize positive energy, and encourage the whole country to strive as one for progress. The key to success lies in raising the quality and level of our publicity and theoretical work. We should have the proper timing, tempo, and efficiency, make this work more attractive and influential, inform the people about what they love to hear, read, and watch, and let positive publicity play its role in encouraging and inspiring the people. When it comes to major issues, including those of political principle, we must take the initiative in helping officials and the people draw a line between right and wrong and acquire a clear understanding in this regard. Over the years, our party has accumulated abundant experience in publicity and theoretical work. Hard-earned and extremely precious, this experience serves as major guidance for our future work and should be thoroughly reviewed and carried forward on a long-term basis and continuously enriched and developed. As an old Chinese saying goes, a wise man changes his ways as circumstances change. A knowledgeable person alters his means as times evolve. Footnote 1. Huan Quan, On Salt and Iron, Yan Tie Lun. An important work for the study of the history of economics and thought during the Western Han Dynasty, 206 BC to AD 25. The author, dates unknown, was a court minister of that dynasty. End of footnote 1. As for publicity and theoretical work today, we should pay close attention to innovation in the fields of ideas, methodologies, and grassroots work, and move forward with new ideas to tackle difficulties, with emphasis on work in local communities. We should step up cultural reforms, push forward the culture industry, and build China into a country with a strong socialist culture. At this time, when China is opening its door wider to the outside world, it has become an important task for those engaged in publicity and theoretical work to help guide the people to a better understanding of present-day China, while learning about the rest of the world more comprehensively and objectively. To explain and publicize the special characteristics of modern China, we need to make it clear that 1, because different countries and nations have different historical traditions, cultural accomplishments, and basic conditions, their development paths are different. 2, Chinese culture encompasses the deepest cultural and ethical pursuits of the Chinese nation, nourishing the people for generations. 3, fine traditional Chinese culture is a great strength of the Chinese nation and its most profound cultural soft power. 4, rooted in Chinese culture, socialism with Chinese characteristics represents the Chinese people's aspirations, suits the times, and facilitates the development of the country, and is based on a long history and solid reality. The time-honored Chinese culture is capable of adding glory to it today and in the days to come. It is inevitable for China, a country with a unique culture, history, and basic conditions, to choose a development path featuring its own characteristics. As for traditional Chinese culture and foreign things, we should make the past serve the present and foreign things serve China. Discard the dross and select the essential. Eliminate the false and retain the true. And adopt traditional Chinese culture and foreign things after a thorough scientific review of both. We should intensify our publicity of and report on the changes and developments worldwide and the new thoughts, ideas, and discoveries in other countries, so as to help draw on the achievements of other civilizations. We should enhance our foreign-oriented publicity work through trying methods with new concepts, domains, and expressions that are understood by both China and the rest of the world, telling the true story of our country and making our voice heard. The departments concerned with publicity and theoretical work have an extremely important task to shoulder. They should play their part well and try their best. They should improve their work, starting from their leaders and leading bodies. Therefore, those leaders should intensify their study and practice in order to become real experts. Successful publicity and theoretical work requires joint efforts by the whole party. Party committees at all levels should take political and leading responsibilities. They should redouble their efforts to study and address major issues and coordinate and guide major strategic campaigns. They should steadily upgrade their leadership skills. With a grand publicity blueprint, we should mobilize as many departments as possible in all walks of life and link publicity and theoretical work more closely to administrative, industrial, and social governance in all areas. Strong ethical support for the realization of the Chinese dream. September 26th, 2013. Main points of the speech when meeting the fourth group of nominees and winners of National Ethical Model Awards. Paragons of morality are important banners for building public ethics. We need to carry out campaigns to publicize such paragons of morality and let people learn from them, foster the true, the good, and the beautiful, and spread positive energy. We should inspire the people to esteem virtue, perform good deeds, and emulate virtuous people. Moreover, we should encourage the whole of society to cultivate morality by practicing virtue and to exert a positive influence through ethical behavior. In this way, we will marshal strong spiritual and ethical support for realizing the Chinese dream of national renewal. Inner strength is infinite, as is moral strength. Chinese civilization has a long history, stretching back to antiquity. It gave birth to the precious character of the Chinese nation and cultivated the Chinese people's pursuit of noble values. The pursuit of constant self-improvement and embracing the world through virtue have been the stimuli behind the Chinese nation's ceaseless self-regeneration. And today this pursuit is still a powerful motivation for us to carry out reform and opening up, and for socialist modernization. To meet the requirements of the central authorities, local governments and departments have long worked hard to promote public morality, advocated traditional Chinese virtues, and fostered the new trends of the times. Consequently, ethical models have emerged in large numbers. National ethical models are outstanding representatives of these people. Some of you have hearts of gold and are always ready to help others. Some act bravely for a just cause without considering personal safety. Some are honest and trustworthy and keep to the right way. Some work diligently at their posts, dedicating their lives to serving the public. And some treat the elderly and their relatives with filial respect. With noble characters, you have warmed and touched the hearts of our people, and have set good examples for the whole of society. A great era calls for a great spirit, and a worthy cause demands role models to take the lead. Now the people of China are working hard for the Chinese dream, in line with the requirement to cultivate and practice the core socialist values raised at the party's 18th National Congress. We should pay close attention to advocating socialist morals, intensify education in public morality, professional ethics, family virtues, and individual integrity. Promote basic moral standards such as patriotism, dedication to work, integrity, and friendliness. And cultivate social trends of recognizing honor and disgrace, practicing integrity, and encouraging dedication and promoting harmony. Now, I'd like to introduce Gong Chuanjun, a national ethical role model. She is the widow of General Gan Zhucheng, a veteran Red Army officer from Jiangxi Province and a founding general of the People's Republic. In 1957, Gong voluntarily resigned his post to be a farmer, and Gong Chuanjin returned with him to the countryside in Jiangxi. Half a century later, Gong still maintains the spirit of hard work and plain living. For this, she was elected a national ethical model and is present at this meeting. I feel gratified and want to express my greatest respects to her. We must carry forward the spirit of hard work and plain living, generation after generation. Enhance China's cultural soft power. December 30th, 2013. Main points of the speech at the 12th Group Study Session of the Political Bureau of the 18th CPC Central Committee, which she presided over. The strengthening of our cultural soft power is decisive for China to reach the 2 centenary goals and realize the Chinese dream of rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. We should carry forward advanced socialist culture, further the reform of the cultural system, develop and enrich socialist culture, inspire the whole nation to engage in cultural creation, beef up the growth of cultural enterprises, enrich the people's cultural life, ignite their inspiration, strengthen our cultural power and competitiveness, and reach the goal of building China into a socialist cultural power. To strengthen our cultural soft power, we should reinforce the cornerstone of our national cultural soft power. We should adhere to a development path of socialist culture featuring Chinese characteristics, intensify the study of and education in the core socialist value system, carry forward the national spirit and the spirit of the times, encourage people to have their ideals and beliefs, establish prosperous cultural undertakings, and speed up the growth of cultural enterprises. To reinforce the foundation for domestic cultural progress, one of the major tasks is to enhance ideological and moral education and build up social morality by starting with every individual. We should carry forward and foster the traditional morality long cultivated and developed by our ancestors. Under the guidance of Marxist and socialist ethics, we should make the past serve the present and put forth new ideas on the basis of eliminating the false and retaining the true, for the creative transformation and progress of traditional Chinese ethics, so as to lead the people on the way to yearning for and aspiring to lifelong learning, respecting and obeying moral standards, so that every one of the 1.3 billion Chinese citizens can be part of a team to disseminate Chinese morality and culture. To strengthen our cultural soft power, we should disseminate the values of modern China. Modern Chinese values are also those of socialism with Chinese characteristics, representing advanced Chinese culture. China has blazed a successful socialist path featuring Chinese characteristics. Facts prove that our path and system, theoretical and social, are successful. More work should be done to refine and explain our ideas and extend the platform for overseas publicity so as to make our culture known through international communication and dissemination. We should relate the Chinese dream to modern Chinese values during our dissemination and explanation. The Chinese dream is a dream cherished and aspired to by the Chinese people and nation. A dream of building China into a well-off society in an all-round way, and rejuvenating the Chinese nation. A dream for everyone to make his own dream come true. A dream that the whole nation strives for. And a dream to show the world China's commitment to making a greater contribution to the peace and development of mankind. To strengthen our cultural soft power, we should showcase the unique charm of Chinese culture. During its 5,000-year history, the Chinese nation has created a brilliant and profound culture. We should disseminate the most fundamental Chinese culture in a popular way to attract more people to participate in it, matching modern culture and society. We should popularize our cultural spirit across countries as well as across time and space, with contemporary values and the eternal charm of Chinese culture. We should tell the rest of the world about the new achievements of modern Chinese culture, which feature both excellent tradition and modern spirit, both national and international. To this end, efforts should be made to sort out traditional cultural resources and bring back to life relics sleeping in closed palaces, legacies of the vast land of China, and records in ancient books. We should convince the people with reason and morality, improve cultural communication with other countries, and intensify our system of cultural and educational exchanges, blaze new trails, and use various means such as mass media, group dissemination, and interpersonal communication. To build a beautiful image of our country, we should display the Chinese civilization of a long history and unity of diversified ethnic groups with varying cultures, an oriental power with honest and capable political administrations, developed economy, thriving culture, stable society, unified people, and splendid landscapes. A responsible great power that is committed to peaceful development, common growth, international fairness and justice, and contributions to mankind, and a socialist power opening its door wider to the outside world, full of hope, vigor, and vitality. To strengthen our cultural soft power, we should intensify our international right of speech, enhance our capability of international communication, and spare no efforts in establishing a system for international speech to tell, in the right way, the true story of our country and make our voices heard through giving full play to the emerging media and enhancing our creativity, influence, and public trust. We should disseminate the glorious history and excellent culture of the Chinese nation and people. We should also enhance education in patriotism, collectivism, and socialism, with the help of all possible means, such as classroom teaching, theoretical research, historical study, films and television programs, and literary works, and help our people build up and persist in a correct concept of history, national viewpoint, state outlook, and cultural perspective, so as to fortify the will of the Chinese people. Who should be prouder of being Chinese? cultivate, and disseminate the core socialist values. February 24th, 2014. Main points of the speech at the 13th Group Study Session of the Political Bureau of the 18th CPC Central Committee, which Xi presided over. We must take cultivating and disseminating the core socialist values as a fundamental project for integrating the people's mindset and reinforcing our social foundations. We should inherit and carry forward the fine traditional Chinese culture and virtues, disseminate the core socialist values, and educate the people extensively. Guide and encourage the people to act according to them, to respect and follow moral standards, to pursue lofty moral ideals, and to reinforce the ideological and moral foundation of socialism with Chinese characteristics. Core values, a fundamental factor for the texture and orientation of a culture, are the soul of cultural soft power and a key to building a nation's cultural soft power. In essence, cultural soft power depends on the vitality, cohesion, and appeal of the core values of a nation. Therefore, cultivating and disseminating the core values and effectively integrating the people's mindset is an important means of ensuring that the socialist system operates in a normal manner and that the social order is effectively maintained. It is also a major aspect of a nation's governing system and capacity. Facts prove that to successfully build a set of core values with strong appeal is connected with a country's social harmony and stability, as well as its long-term peace and order. To cultivate and disseminate the core socialist values, we must take traditional Chinese culture at the base. All concrete core values are deeply rooted, so to renounce such values is tantamount to severing our cultural lifeline. The extensive, profound, and outstanding traditional Chinese culture is the foundation for us to stand firm upon in the global mingling and clashing of cultures. The long-developed Chinese culture embraces our deepest intellectual pursuits. It is an icon of the unique Chinese nation and has ensured the lineage, development, and growth of the Chinese nation. Traditional Chinese virtues are the essence of Chinese culture and embody rich and ethical moral resources. Only by etching these values in our minds can we forge ahead. And only by carrying forward what our ancestors have left us can we learn to be more creative. With regard to values, perceptions, and ethics handed down for generations, we should make the past serve the present, discard the dross and keep the essential, eliminate the false and retain the true, and put forth new ideas. That is to say, we should treat and inherit them with a critical approach, and cultivate and educate the people with the Chinese cultural legacy. We need to explain clearly the historical origin, evolution, and basic tendency of the outstanding traditional Chinese culture and its uniqueness, perceptions, and distinctive features, so as to enhance confidence in Chinese culture and values. We should work hard to absorb the philosophical and moral essence of traditional Chinese culture, foster and disseminate our national character with patriotism at the core and at the call of the times, highlighted by the reform and innovation, and identify and explicate their essential features of benevolence, people orientation, integrity, righteousness, concordance, and common ground. We should properly handle the relationship between inheritance and innovation, with a focus on transforming and developing the fine traditional Chinese culture in a creative way. We should make the core values the people's pursuit and conscious actions through education, publicity, cultural edification, habitual development, and institutional guarantee. A fine example has boundless power. All party members and officials must take the lead in studying and spreading the core socialist values, influence and encourage other people to follow their exemplary behavior and noble personalities. We should spread the socialist values among children and students, ensuring their inclusion in textbooks and lectures so as to let everyone be aware of them. Like spring drizzle falling without a sound, we should disseminate the core socialist values in a gentle and lively way by making use of all kinds of cultural forms. We should inform the people by means of fine literary works and artistic images what is true, the good, and the beautiful, what is false, the evil, and the ugly, and what should be praised and encouraged, and what should be opposed and repudiated. The core socialist values can hardly be effective unless they are put into practice, for only then may the people understand and observe them. What we advocate must be in line with what the people need in their daily life, in a manner as detailed and practical as possible. We must uphold the core socialist values when strengthening rules and regulations in all sectors, formulating codes of conduct for students and other citizens in both urban and rural areas, so as to turn the core socialist values into basic guidelines for the people's daily life and work. We should create some forms of ceremonies and conduct various memorial and celebration events to disseminate mainstream values and enhance the people's sense of identity and of belonging. Efforts should be made to integrate the requirements of the core socialist values into various activities concerning intellectual and cultural progress, so as to attract more people to participate in such activities, upgrade their moral outlook, and foster civic virtues in society for family happiness, extending care to others and contributing more to society. We should make use of every opportunity to make this happen anytime and anywhere. We should give full play to our policies concerning the economy, politics, culture, and society to better serve the cultivation of the core socialist values. Laws and regulations should act as a driving force for the spread of the core values. Moreover, all social administrative agencies should make it their responsibility to advocate the core socialist values and reflect them in their routine work, so that all activities conforming with the core values are encouraged and those running counter to the core values are rebuffed.